All right, hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm back again with another video. This one will be my build video for ganking on a Magicka Nightblade. Now, I know ganking receives a lot of flack. I know a lot of people look at this negatively. I totally understand that. You know, when you get caught ganking and you fail and you get run over and you get killed, the bags are definitely warranted. I understand this. At the same time, though, you play this game to have fun, and ganking is a lot of fun. It's not the easiest thing in the world. I know a lot of people think like, hey, I can just hit hard, I can hop on a Nightblade, and I can be a good ganker. There's a lot more to it than that. Hitting hard is one thing, but being able to get out, being able to survive on a class that's very squishy is not easy. Having the patience to pick and choose your targets and to know where your outs are is the biggest thing. So, I can't tell you how many times I've played with friends and they've hopped on, they've gone, oh man, your ganker looks like a lot of fun, let's go do this. And they hop on, a gank spec like I am, and they just die right away because, they kill somebody. That person comes back and kills them, and then there's, this, I gotta get this guy. I gotta stick it to him because he just teabagged me. And then they end up dying because they're out to get this one person and they're not seeing everything else around them. They get this tunnel vision. And, if you do that as a ganker, you're going to die. You're going to die a lot. You're not going to have fun with it. Yeah. Now, in general, as far as ganking goes, I've done ganking on a few different classes. This build can work on any class. You can do it on a sorcerer. You can do it on a Magicka Templar. You can do it on a Magicka DK. I'd actually be really good at a Magicka DK. Be good. My buddy's done this on a Magicka Templar, and it's been very effective. Your ability to get out isn't as good because you don't have cloak, but you hit hard. And so if you can pick and choose your targets well, if you have invis pots, you can make this work on other classes. But obviously, it's best at a Magicka Nightblade. Ganking in general is typically reserved for stam classes because stamina classes, they stun their target from stealth. So if I hit you from stealth with a heavy attack with a bow or with a dual wield heavy attack or anything else, basically from stealth, I stun you and I put you on the ground. So not only am I hitting you hard, I'm stunning you, and then my next attack basically hits for free while you're stunned and on the ground. You don't get that as a Magicka Nightblade. You don't get the stun, which is fine. I think this is the way all classes should be approached, but with this setup, we hit so hard, it just doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter that we don't have a stun. It doesn't matter that we're not running a proc set. It doesn't matter that, we're not stamina and we're not going to be in people's faces and finishing them off with executes or up close executes and stuff like that, because this setup currently, it's nothing new. If you're a Magicka Nightblade ganker or you have been for a while, this build's been out for a while. I was running this a year ago. I stopped running it once the Black Rose meta came out about last October or so, just because it just didn't work as well against everybody running heavy armor. But when they buffed the Destruction Staff passives to give single target builds with Fire Staffs 8% more damage, it made this setup more viable again. And decided to throw it back on and try it out, and it's just as strong as it used to be. In the past, I used to hit 25. I think the 25k was my highest heavy attack. My highest heavy attack now in the last 2 days is 22k. So still basically one-shotting people with a heavy attack, but now we've added more to it to make it even more nasty. So if you're interested in ganking, I will dive through all the details for this setup and why it works even against heavy armor classes, yada yada yada. And why I think it'll work next patch. We're a couple days away, but nothing to be guaranteed. But I'm very confident you can literally take this and you can go straight into Morrowind, and whether you do Battlegrounds or you do CP open world or you do no CP, I think this will still be very effective with what it does. So, with all that being said, let's dive into the gear and let's talk about it. Oh, hold on one second. So, we are a Magicka Nightblade, obviously. We are a Dark Elf. Dark Elf is best for this class, or for this setup. You want the fire damage. We're using a Destruction Staff. Dark Elves give 7% Destruction Staff, 7% damage to their fire staffs. This is going to boost our heavy attacks, so that's why we're doing it that way. On our back bar, we are running 5 Clever Alchemist. This is the ganker specialty. So max health, weapon damage, and then when you drink a potion, you gain 638 weapon and spell damage for 15 seconds. This gives you a lot of burst that applies to everybody. Whether they're wearing a damage shield or not, Alchemist is your burst set that you want to run. We're also running the Maelstrom Inferno Staff sharpened on the front bar. If you don't have this, that's not a big deal. I can go through the alternatives. We're running one-piece Molag Kina light armor for the helmet. It can be the shoulder, preferably Divines. I do not have Divines. I have Infused, so we're running Infused here. We're running the rest of them all Divines. We're running heavy chest, Divine, Clever Alchemist, light shoulder. We're running 5-1-1, so 5 light, 1 medium, 1 heavy, and as many Divines as possible. So everything else, as you can see, is Divines with 1 Infused. Our other set, our other 5-piece, we're running Elegant. Now, Elegant boosts your heavy attack damage by 20%. This is what's going to give you your crazy one-shot capabilities. Now, you don't have to run Elegant. Spinners is very good. Spinners is actually really good for an overall set, but if you really want to see crazy damage numbers on a heavy attack, you run Elegant. But Spinners applies to everything against people with armor. Like your ultimate is going to be affected. This does better damage against shields. But yeah, you're not going to go wrong with that. This is our burst combo is basically a heavy attack Swallow Soul or heavy attack CC with our ultimate. So we're trying to boost our ultimate to get people in execute range as fast as possible. That's why I like Elegant a little bit more. Like I said, medium legs, heavy chest, all Divines. We're very squishy, 5 light. And then 3 Elegant jewelry, all spell damage. Now, this, as I said, this build's been out for a while. Like I said, I was running this a year ago. Not many people are running it anymore because everybody's running heavy armor. It's still very effective. Now, if you don't have this Maelstrom Inferno Staff, what you can do is you can go pick up a sharpened Elegant Staff. I found one for 50K. Very cheap. You can make this Elegant. You can run one-piece Molag Kina, and then you can run like a shoulder Infernal Guardian. So instead of having the staff, you have 2 monster pieces where you get spell damage and max Magicka, and then you're running Elegant on your front bar, golded out. You're going to miss out on a little damage from this, but it's not enough to make it a huge difference. As far as food goes, we are running Witchmother's Potent Brew. Now this will give us max Magicka, health, and Magicka recovery. Now you can run dual stat food. Dual stat food you'll hit a little bit harder, but it's not enough to make up for the utility of having this much more Magicka recovery, being able to bounce in and out of fights a little bit more. You can absolutely make less Magicka recovery work if you want to go for crazy one-shots. Like I said, I've hit 22k heavy with this setup, so I feel like I'm hitting plenty hard. I like the Magicka recovery a little bit more. Now, the biggest thing about this setup is you have to run the Shadow Mundus. A lot of people try to run Gank specs and they want to run the Thief, or they want to run the Warrior, or they want to run the Atronach. They want to do all these damage things, or they want to run the Mage. What will give you the most damage for this setup is the Shadow Mundus. It's not even close, not even up for debate. This is what makes or breaks your ganks, is running the Shadow Mundus. Now, it doesn't apply to just this. Like if you're a Stamina Nightblade and you're running and you're ganking, you also want to run the stamina or the Shadow Mundus. That's why we're all running all divines. We're trying to boost our amount of critical damage. Now, the reason we're doing that, we'll jump into our skills here. We can guarantee a crit with our cloak. So on our back bar, we're running Healing Word. We're running Merciless Resolve. This gives us 8% more damage done. And then we also can proc a Spectral Bow that also hits very hard. We're not going to proc this too much because we're going to kill people so fast. You know, this isn't that big of a deal. That's why it's in our back bar. Double Take, this is how we're going to get around the battlefield. You know, we are a vampire. So being fast as we're stealth is very good. And, you know, this allows us to kite around and try and find people. Like if we see somebody in an area and we need to get to a spot, like let's say we want a heavy attack and be able to get into a room so they don't see us, but we have to get over there. Well, Double Take will allow us to move fast in stealth while we're there. That's why it's on the bar. Very squishy since we're not running like a ward outside of Healing Word. So we just have to use our stealth. We have to utilize our speed in stealth and you know, use our Shadow Image. Shadow Image is very useful, bouncing in and out of fights. We're not going to be able to stand toe-to-toe with anybody. We're running 6 Divines, preferably 7 Divines. We're very squishy. We're running no impen. We're running 5 light, and we have no wards. So we do not want anybody to hit us. We want to hit. We want to get in. We want to hit hard. We want to get out. That's the goal. And then we're running siphoning attacks. Siphoning attacks helps our sustain. I think it's just kind of a no-brainer for this setup. Next patch, you know, this is still going to be very useful. And then our back bar ultimate is Life Giver. This is going to be our, oh shit, somebody caught me. I need to get out. I need to reset, and I need to, you know, get back into my comfort zone ultimate. This is very cheap. It keeps you alive for 5 seconds. You put your Shadow Image down. You run away from it. You go back to it. You basically don't die while you're doing all that. You get back into stealth, and you reset the fight, and you do what you got to do. As far as our front bar skills go, we are running Impale. This is our Magicka Nightblade Execute. When people get to low health with our heavy attack Swallow Soul combo or a heavy attack ultimate combo and they're not dead, we're going to hit them with this Execute. This Execute hits very hard. I've been hitting people for anywhere from 10 to 14,000 with this Execute. Very bursty with the setup. We melt people. We can get melted, but we melt people if we choose our spots right. I need a respec, but I'm currently using Flame Reach. This is our range CC. It's also a damage over time effect. That's why I was using it. Honestly, Agony is better, or you know, Malefic Wraith or the other morph. Both of them are very good. Those are better than this because this one doesn't go through block. That one does. So basically, what you want to do is you want a heavy attack, you want to CC, and you want to hit with your ultimate. Or if they're at low health, you know, I can go through the combos, but this is going to be your range CC. It's a damage over time effect. It kind of keeps people off you so you can get back into stealth. I was using this for a little bit. I like Agony better. I just didn't have the skill points because I was doing other things. This is just fine for me. We're also using Shadowy Disguise. Shadowy Disguise, your next attack within 3 seconds will always be a critical strike. So anytime we hit the cloak button, we have a guaranteed crit from stealth within 3 seconds. So we're gonna cloak. We're gonna heavy attack. Guaranteed crit. We're stacking into crit damage with the Shadow Mundus, and you know, all divines. Inner Light. This boosts our crit damage. It gives us max Magicka. It brings other Nightblades out of stealth. This is just a great skill for this setup. All of a sudden, you're dealing with a Nightblade that's hitting you just as hard as you're hitting him. You hit him with this. They can't return invisibility for 3 seconds. You hit this. You hit your cloak. You hit a heavy attack. You one-shot them because they're all swearing divines. They're now dead. Swallow Soul. This is going to be our spammable DPS at range. You can see it hits really hard. I'm not even buffed up right now, and we have almost 9,000 magic damage from stealth with Swallow Soul. And then Soul Assault. I used to run Meteor, but Soul Assault's way better for this. I mean, it hits stupid hard. You hit with a heavy attack that can hit it for anywhere from 10 to 20,000, 22,000, and then you CC them, and then you hit them with this. You know, if they're not on their wards or if they're not blocking and healing right away, you know, if they take a split second and they're not paying attention, this will kill them. You will nuke them. They will die. They will respawn. and very strong, very effective. Now, if you think Soul Assault's cheese, you know, this entire setup's cheese. Let's be completely honest. You're ganking on a Magicka Nightblade. You're basically trying to hit as hard as possible. If you're deciding not to run Soul Assault because you feel like it hits too hard, I don't know. It just seems kind of weird to me. It's in the game. They need to adjust it. That's not on you, in my opinion. So, yeah. So, that's our skills. That's what we're running. Let's look at our character sheet. So, unbuffed. This is what we look like about here. 40.7k Magicka, 23.8k health, 10,000 stamina. We have very low stamina, so we have to be careful. We don't want to get exposed from stealth. We don't want to get CC'd when we're crouched around trying to find people. That is not a good look for us. We want to be in stealth. We want to hit with our heavy attack. We want to get out. That's the entire goal of this setup. We have 2659 weapon damage, or spell damage, 44% crit. So we have pretty good crit, even with the Shadow Mundus. Our spell damage actually isn't too bad. 1374 Magicka recovery is also very nice. Now, if we were to buff up with our potion, we're using Essence of Spell Power Pots. If we look at our setup now, we have almost 4,000 spell damage and 1541 Magicka recovery. So 4,000 spell damage, 40k Magicka. We're hitting very hard, and we're guaranteed a crit with this setup. If we look at our Soul Assault, our Soul Assault hits for, I think, just under 90,000 right now at 3. I think it's like 88 or 87 fully buffed. This is just with Major Sorcery. This is without Alchemist procced. So very hard-hitting ultimate. As far as our combo goes, we'll wait for our potion to come back. Hopefully I can show you guys this on an ad really quick. Don't really want to find somebody since I'm streaming this from my PC. Get wrecked, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, that's dumb. So all you do is you pop your potion, you buff with that. You want to hit your inner light first, you cloak, and you charge your heavy attack, and then you swallow soul. And you can see there, 50k heavy attack on an NPC. Now, obviously, it's an NPC. It's not the same as, a person. You're not going to hit somebody with a 50k heavy attack, but, you cut that damage in half on people. You reduce it a little bit more with CP. You can see 20k heavy attacks is well within your realm of possibility with this setup. If you're hitting that hard, and then all of a sudden you hit them with this, okay, sorry, let me reword this. So that's going to be our typical setup. We're going to pick and choose our targets. We're not going to try and go after heavy armor tanks, even though we can take them out, if they're not very good. Like if they just have a lot of health and they don't have a lot of healing, like their stam DKs or whatever, our Soul Assault is going to give us an opportunity to kill those guys too. So this works really well against people running Imperial Physique. This works really well in trying to take somebody out of a group. I've been running this a lot lately, like when all of a sudden the sewers get really zergy. Like I play blue. Everybody zergs the sewers, but if a red zerg hops in the sewers, or if a yellow zerg hops in the sewers and they're running around farming stones and I can't fight them toe to toe because it's me and a buddy, I hop on this. And I'm like, all right, well, you guys can go farm stones and you guys can go do whatever you want. I'm just going to pick and choose my targets. If they're light armor sorks, you wait for their ward to go down, you pop your potion, you hit with your inner light, you cloak, and then you charge your heavy attack, and then you hit with that plus Swallow Soul or whatever, and then they're dead. That Swallow Soul, Impale, they're dead, you cloak, you get back out. If they have a little bit more health or you think they're in heavy armor, you hit with, Alchemist, Inner Light, Cloak, Heavy Attack, and then you hit with your CC, your Flame Reach, or your Malefic Wraith, or whatever. You hit with that to CC him on the ground, and then you hit him with your Soul Assault. And then that just will end most people if your entire combo goes off. Yeah. As far as... I'm trying to remember if there's anything else. Oh. So, this is very good pre-Morrowind, obviously. Like, even with everybody wearing heavy, this is still very effective. Like, even in group play, as long as you pick it. Like, if there's two groups fighting, as long as you're bouncing in and out of the fight, you could be very effective. You have to be patient with this setup. Like if all of a sudden people know you're there, there are so many counters to gank stealth setups. You know, you have detect pots, you have radiant mage light, you have revealing flare, you have mark target, you have inner light. Every class has an ability that allows them to not be affected. So, you know, if they know you're there and they're smart players, they will do something about you, and you will probably die. But in general, like most people just do not know how to handle this class. They just see it and they're like, oh, there's a gank around me. I don't know what to do, and then they try to run away and they try to stealth, and you know your Magicka Nightblade and stealth is kind of your foreplay. You know, like that's what you're good at. So it just Nightblades in general do better than any other class at exposing players' weaknesses. You know, picking people apart, forcing them to make mistakes because, you know, Nightblades are the only class that has stealth like this, that can bounce in and out, that can hit really hard, that can get away. And they have all this stuff, and, you know, people either choose not to run detect bots or they don't know what they have at their disposal, and, you know, in general, it's a lot of fun to play this way. Now, as far as Morrowind goes, like, will this be effective next patch? I'm very confident that it will be. I know they're getting rid of crit damage from stealth. I know that they're eliminating that. I know they're reducing the amount of damage your heavy attacks get by 15%. I think it's 15. So your heavy attacks are going to hit less hard next patch than they are this patch, and that's a big nerf, especially to this setup. However, in no CP, people are not going to have as much impen, you know, because they can't wear CP, so your crits are going to hit harder against them. So I think it's going to be fine in no CP. And in CP, you know, they changed the scaling of the champion point system to where now you have, although they reduced that damage, your crit damage from stealth, and they reduced your heavy attack damage, and those are two big nerfs. What they did as well is they made the CP system more front-end loaded, meaning that you get more off your initial return and investment into points than you did before. And what they also did is they said they added another passive called Master at Arms, which increases your damage on direct damage attacks by I think it's up to 25%. So you still have your staff attacks as far as your CP goes. You know, you still have. Hold on here. Let's go to it. You're still going to have those. You're still going to have your staff expert. I have 30 in here now. I have the rest in Elemental Defender, and then I have the rest into Precision, Pure Elfborn for you know, we're critting. We want more crit damage. They're getting rid of Bow Expert here, and they're putting Master at Arms. So you still have Staff Expert, and then you'll have this new stat that have increased your damage on direct damage abilities by X%. Now, the thing about being a ganker is you're already going to be specialized anyways running heavy attacks. So what you can do next patch is you can invest heavily into both of these and make them front-end loaded, and you can get, you know, 50 points in here plus 50 points in here. That's like 17% heavy attack, and then another 17% direct damage attack. And so you're going to make up for the amount of damage you're losing with heavy attacks next patch with you know, their changes and with their crit damage. So you're going to make up for a lot of that here. Now, the other thing is they're also going to have this Ironclad. I'm pretty sure they're changing to resistance against heavy direct damage attacks. You know, people are going to put points into here to reduce some of that. However, because you're a ganker, you could invest more heavily into yours than they're going to invest into theirs, because most people are going to want to put some into resistant. Most people are going to want to put some into hardy and elemental defender, and, you know, all this other stuff. They want to put some into quick recovery, yada yada yada. You know, they're only going to put like 20 or 30 into here, whereas you could put like 60. And so even though they're going to be running this, you're still going to be hitting harder. You know, you're getting some nerfs, but you're making up for some of it in the CP tree due to how we're going to scale it. Now, the other thing is due to the overall nerf of sustain, a lot of people are going to go away from heavy armor. They're going to say, you know what, I can't run heavy armor, I'm going to wear medium, I'm going to wear light, I'm going to run wards, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, which is fine. But that only helps you because we're already hitting for 10 to 15k heavy attacks for people in heavy armor. If they switch to medium, we're going to hit them even harder than that. So the switch in the overall meta of people going to light and medium more often means that you're going to have people you could still pick off with the setup quite a bit. I'm not saying that that's 100% going to be the case. You know, maybe impregnable armor makes like a huge thing, or you know, maybe people stick to heavy and they say, you know what, I still want to be tanky, I still want to have all this sustain, I'm going to put a proc set on and, you know, whatever. We don't really know exactly what the meta is going to be yet in CP and no CP. Basically, there's 3 different games. You know, there's Battleground meta, there's going to be CP open world meta, and there's going to be no CP open world meta. Now, which ones this works for, I can't definitively say, but I think it's going to be fine for all of them, and I'm definitely going to take it in there and try it out. So I think that's the end of it. Hopefully I explained myself well. I know this setup's been out for a while. Honestly, I don't see many people running it, and you know, after about the 5th person asked me what I'm running, I realized, you know, this isn't as common as I thought it was, even though I thought it was pretty well known. So I'm not reinventing the wheel here. Like I said, this setup's been out for a while. It's still very effective. It's a lot of fun. If you guys want to see clips, like Gank clips of this, I've collected a few. I can throw it together. I can make a little mini montage of, you know, this in action. So yeah, that will be the end of this video. Have a nice day.